The local environmental record centres in Wales have been collaborating for a number of years, and this has culminated in the development of Aderyn, a website that allows access to all of the data that has been held by all of the 4 Welsh local environmental record centres. The only species data that is not available to the general public are those that are listed as sensitive species. These are your breeding birds of prey, bats, badgers, and other species of bird and animal that have been persecuted over the years or are particularly scarce and threatened for any reason. But everything else is available to the members of the public, and there are 2 tools which you have access to. The one that I'm going to demonstrate in this video are for the distribution maps. So with this tool you can look at the distributions of species records for any of the species apart from the sensitive ones that are held within the local environmental record centres databases. There are a number of ways in which you can gain access to a particular species. If you happen to know the groups, your taxonomy behind the species that you're looking for, then you can use the various drill down lists, but probably the most simple method of gaining access to the species you want is to use the species wildcard box. So if we click on the green search button, and then you have a choice of entering a scientific name or a common name. I'm going to enter a common name, and a magpie, and click the search button, and you will then be presented with the various options that contain the word magpie, including magpie ducks, magpie robins. Any species that comes up that has no records, you won't be able to go and visit the map. But these here with the green arrows, you could then go and look at the map for these species. So we have the bird magpie, magpie the moth, small magpie moth, clouded magpie moth, and a magpie fungus. Well, being a moth person, I'm interested primarily in the moth, so I'm going to look at the distribution of magpie moth in Wales. So you click on the green arrow, and Aderyn will then take you to the distribution map for the magpie moth. The grid squares are colour coded based on the number of records. This grading is done based on the number of records that have come out. So the top level is always red, but the numbers vary depending on how many records there were in total. So, and here is your distribution map for magpie moth in Wales, and you can zoom around the map using the map tools, and provided it isn't a sensitive species, you can then also click on the 1 kilometre at the 10 kilometre square, and view the 1 kilometre distribution for the records within. So here we have the distribution for the 10 kilometre square in and around Llantrisant. And so you can see that there aren't that many records of magpie moth in this 10 kilometre square. It is also worth pointing out that at no point can any of these maps be used for commercial purposes. If you require a distribution map for anything that relates to commercial activity, then please contact the local environmental record centres directly. One further thing to note, if there are a number of species for which you may know the scientific name, but there is a confusion if you don't know the subgenus name. So for example, the bilberry bumblebee might, if you don't know the scientific, the subgenus name, you might have struggled to find that. So fortunately the system is clever enough to pick up that subgenus name and return the data. So this then would be the distribution map for the bilberry bumblebee, which is generally an upland species in Wales. So that's those are your distribution maps, and please feel free to have a look around and enjoy the data that is available to you.